Hey everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the evening. Tonight's show, as it always is brought to you by our friends at Mortgage CS. Check out mortgagecs.com/PHLY to start your home buying process today. Company NMLS ID. Number 1464766. Like I said, my name's Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the evening. Joining me tonight, the one and only JP Zapata. Charlie O'Connor will be live with us in just a bit from the Wells Fargo Center. Flyers beat those bastard Senators 4-2. Thank God. It got a little hairy there at the end. Flyers came out right away, first 20 minutes. Dominated the Sens, outshot them 19-4. A lot of that comes on the power play. 8 power play shots on 3 opportunities, but they don't score. They're only up 1-0 after the first. And it looked like it might follow a similar script as last night. Tarasenko ties it up in the second, but then Tyson Foerster to the rescue. 2 goals in 45 seconds.
Game, man.
And he is absolutely on fire right now. Flyers put it away in the third. They added the empty netter, Cam York, empty net specialist. He is excellent. He's basically the Steph Curry of empty net goals. He's excellent from distance. JP, what were your impressions of tonight's game?
Wow. We had a bounce-back game. After yesterday, we were disappointed because of the Flyers missing an opportunity against the Washington Capitals. And then tonight, listen, we knew it wasn't going to be easy. I mean, Ottawa definitely gives us issues. No Brady Tkachuk here. That doesn't matter, though. But, Bill, we talk about with the declines of Joel Farabee and Sean Couturier, players like that, which, by the way, Joel gets a goal here tonight, which is big. But Tyson Foerster stepping up in a huge way. Those 2 goals in the second period, absolutely huge. And that's really what the Flyers definitely needed. We had a little bit of luck for Felix Sandstrom, which we'll talk about in a little bit as well. But they clamped down. They got a little bit of luck on their end, but they got the win, and that was the most important part here. That was a much-needed win after last night, and you're happy you were able to get away with this one with a dub, bro.
I absolutely hate losing to the Senators. I like the way that the Flyers played for a majority of the night. It was a little too close for comfort at the end there. Yeah. Loved the first period. You need to come away with more, but Tyson Foerster is one of the guys. Now, he's a rookie. I realize it's like, well, if you're going to depend on rookies, you get what you get. Some nights you're going to get an excellent performance, and some nights you're going to left wanting. Tonight, he's one of the dudes that needed to step up. They're just looking for someone to give them some consistent offense, some game-breaking stuff, like Charlie told us last night, in these close games without Travis Konechny. We all know what TK means to this offense. He's the straw that stirs the drink in all 3 phases of the game, really. They've missed him, but they found a way tonight without him, and a big part of it was Tyson Foerster. I want to start with Felix Sandstrom tonight, though. Last year, 20 appearances, 18 starts, 3 wins in 18 starts, and 880 save percentage. He's been mostly bad in the AHL this year. Now, there's, maybe the AHL, maybe the Phantom's not that great. When Charlie and I spoke to Bob Rotruk, though, he kind of said, like, listen, the Phantoms aren't very good because the goaltending isn't very good. So we really didn't know what to expect after Cal Peterson clears waivers. He's replaced with Felix Sandstrom. I thought he had an up and down night. Yeah. Thought in the first period especially. Now he only sees the 4 shots. Stopped them all. That's good. First period, little early in the game, I thought he was like stabbing at the puck a lot. Like just wasn't quite sure. A lot of stuff went wide and he's reacting like it's... I thought he was a little shaky. And his confidence grew as the game went on. And then late in the third, listen, the Flyers were stuck in their own end. A lot of penalty kill out there. And then the empty net. It's a 6-on-4 at one point. They get some luck. They absolutely get some luck with all those posts. But I liked what I saw out of Felix Sandstrom tonight. For the most part, stopped 26 to 28. It's hard to ask much more out of your fourth string goalie for basically.
I mean, pretty much. This is what we're kind of like asking here is like, would you rather have Cal Peterson, Felix Sandstrom? I'll take this type of performance. Like I mentioned, he did get a little bit lucky. 24 saves on 26 shots, though. So that was definitely big. But I'm not going to lie to you, Bill. The Tarasenko first goal, right? When that went in, I'm like, I don't know, Bill. Is this going to be another one of those Cal Petersons at Pittsburgh type of games?
Yeah, it real like...
Because that was a bad one.
The angle, there's nowhere for him to go. And Charlie tweeted about it, like on second look, it looks like it caught a stick and that caused it to deflect and flutter a little bit. Sure. It's also like he's on his backhand moving to the right and Sealer is taking away the entire middle. There's only one place, like slide all the way over. Like unless you completely overslide out of the net, you're stopping that puck. I just... There's no reason for that part of the net to be open, but it is what it is. I thought he rebounded pretty well after that. When that went in, I was like, oh, shit. Like, this is... Like, Sarsgaard, I thought, got kind of lucky at different points, too. Right. He's looking one way, and the puck's going the other. Like, I don't know how this was basically like a 2-1 game, the whole game, for two goalies who I think kind of stink. Like, there was a lot of luck going on out there tonight, but the Flyers get the better end of it. I don't know how confident I am in Felix Sandstrom going forward, but, I mean, the other option is Cal Peterson, who's probably worse.
I can't, like, the amount of times tonight where, like, a puck hits the top of his head, the side of his head, the top of his left blocker there. The couple times hit the iron in the third period as well.
They got so many posts in the third period. It was insane. There was like a 45, 50-second period where they must have hit 4 posts. They had the one double post on both ends. Earlier in the game, there was the Sens thought they scored, and right on the doorstep, they put one right in the elbow in the top right of the net.
Oh, my God.
There was absolutely some luck in this one, but goalies are going to get lucky sometimes. That's why we say it's basically pinball out there. Like, you don't know what to expect. Goaltending is voodoo. Felix Sandstrom played, I thought, pretty well tonight and comes away with a .929 save percentage. And you just think about some of the games where Sam Ersson has played some games this year where he looked light years better than what Sandstrom looked tonight. Yeah. But just luck of the draw, it doesn't have the same sort of save percentage. But I will absolutely take it. If this is what it's going to be, there's only going to be, I don't know, 4 or 5 more opportunities probably for the backup to play. There's 20 games. I think this was game 62, so there's 20 left. It's going to be Sam Ersson's net, not barring an injury, in which case I have no idea what the hell is going to happen. Maybe they just go with 6 skaters. I don't know.
And that's what you're asking for. You're just asking for someone to take the net for every third start that Ersson needs to take a seat, or like tonight where you're in a back-to-back. But, you're going to take this over what Cal Peterson did. Because I think a lot of us are still scarred from that game in Pittsburgh. But I'll take this performance.
And Cal Peterson I don't think was terrible. He had a couple of good starts in there. But when you have a performance that's so bad, like nobody ever criticizes the goaltending. Jack Hughes comes out a couple of weeks ago and is just like, yeah, man, it's a lot easier when we can get a save. And it's the biggest, and the entire hockey world is like, yeah, the Devils badly need a goalie. It's been a problem all year.
Yep.
Like, it's out there. They were trying to trade for Jacob Markstrom. Everyone knows that the goaltending's been bad, and Jack Hughes says it, and it's like, oh my God, he said it. Like, you never criticize the goalies. And when John Tortorella was asked about Cal Peterson going through waivers, he was like, yeah, man, he wasn't good enough. Like, I can't do it to the guys. Putting him back out there, like, Nick Sealer, who's basically putting his life on the line to play, blocking every shot under the sun. Yeah, I'm going to tell Nick Sealer, you have to do that. And also the goalie behind you is probably going to stop less pucks than you. Like, that's unfair. So they're going to take the shot with Felix Sandstrom. He was good enough tonight, and good enough out of your third, fourth, whatever. Like, he comes into the season. He's the third goalie they keep up for a couple of months and still don't play him.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we don't want to put him through waivers and lose him for nothing. Also, we don't want to play him.
Yeah.
Tonight's his season debut, and he spent the first 3 months with the team.
Yeah.
Like, It is what it is. They got what they needed to out of Felix Sandstrom tonight.
Bill, you also brought up a really good point about a couple of those Cal Peterson starts where he did look good, because I did see kind of the same thing here in the first period for the Flyers, is that when the Flyers are playing good team defense and are keeping the goalie clean, it's easy for these goalies to do well. In those couple starts where Cal Peterson looked solid, he had some good support in front of him. Tonight in the first period, the Senators only had 5 shots. So, like, if you need to help out your backup goalie, especially a guy like Felix Sandstrom or Cal Peterson, so definitely expect that when you have some backup goaltending as well.
Absolutely. And right now, I am excited to tell you about one of our newest partners here at PHLY. It's Ollipop. I started telling you about them last night. They're the sponsor of our watch party for the trade deadline at the Chegg at Chicken and the Egg. But I got to tell you about Ollipop right now, because this is the first functional soda with classic soda taste and the benefits of plant-based fiber, prebiotics, and other botanical ingredients to support gut health. Ollipop is a new kind of soda with only about 2 to 5 grams of sugar and 9 grams of fiber per can, and it is now available in over 30,000 retailers, including Wawa, fam. That's right. Get your Ollipop at your local Wawa. Ollipop's debut in Wawa couldn't be more of a match made in heaven. A delicious, healthy drink meets a convenience store. What better? I tell you all the time, like, listen, don't take health advice from me, but I've had to, I want to stay alive. So I've had to, like, do certain things. Like, I freaking love soda, but I love other stuff more. Soda, it doesn't get you drunk. So, like, I could probably cut that out of my diet. Now with Ollipop, I can drink it guilt-free. One of my favorite flavors, the original cola. I am a cola, like, originalist.
Hey.
I want Coca-Cola. Really, honestly, I'll just say the name. I want original Coca-Cola. Ollipop's cola flavor is really freaking good.
It is.
I was shocked to find out, like, oh, this doesn't taste like some, store brand sugarless nonsense. No, it actually tastes like real cola. My wife is a big fan of root beer. I let her try the root beer. She loved it. I was like, no, I need to talk about this. Like, I need to know what it tastes like. She's like, well, you have another one, right? So Ollipop is a big hit in my house. Listen, almost every American has some sort of relationship with soda from their childhood, and 2 out of 3 Americans say they suffer from digestive issues, and 95% of Americans don't get the daily recommended amount of fiber. Ollipop is tackling both of these issues with a drink that tastes just like soda. Research has linked some of those issues to poor gut health, so taking care of your microbiome might be one solution to your digestive problems. So check out Ollipop right now. Get it at your local Wawa. And if you're going to order it online, I'd go to drinkollipop.com and use code PHLY for $20 off your next order of Ollipop. Discount only applies to one-time orders, not to subscription orders. And it is available in almost 30,000 retailers nationwide, including Wawa, as well as Target, Sprouts, Wegmans, ShopRite, and GoPuff. Get your Ollipop, fam, and use code PHLY20 for 20% off when you order on their website. All right, let's get back to tonight's game. Felix Sandstrom we tackled. I want to talk about the lineup some. Ulla Lycksell is the one who ultimately faces the wrath of John Tortorella after last night's haranguing of both Lycksell and Brink. Brink comes back into the lineup. Lycksell sits out. Cam Atkinson makes his return. Brink did play on the 4th line with Sean Couturier and Nick Delorier. But he was on the power play despite last night's 3rd period benching. He kind of got benched in the 3rd again. He only got 2 shifts early in the 3rd period, did Bobby Brink. Played about 10 minutes tonight. 3 shots on goal, 10-11 time on ice. No points, but I got to say, I was pretty happy with the way I thought Brink responded to the criticism of last night, the 3rd period benching. Kind of just came out and did his job, made a couple of plays on those early power plays that could have resulted in goals, but wasn't to be.
Yeah.
This is just going to be a thing with John Tortorella. If we're not used to it now, it's like Charlie said last night, that's kind of on us, and it's going to be the guys we like sometimes. It's going to be Joel Farabee. 56 seconds. Okay, you're done, kid. Bobby Brink, they don't like what they saw out of him last night, him and Ulla Lycksell. So Lycksell sits, Cam Atkinson comes back in, Brink plays 4th line minutes. It is what it is, but man, I just dig Bobby Brink. I want to see more of him, but I like the way he responded tonight.
Yeah, especially like offensively, you have been getting something from him since coming back from Lehigh Valley. It was the issues last night defensively and the reason why he got sad. So honestly, I was a little bit surprised he did get into the lineup here tonight, but I was happy to see him in that lineup because, again, he does bring some offensive production that you definitely do need. But no, I mean, in general, it's good to see him on that. I do like him on that line with Couturier, obviously. Nick Deslauriers is Nick Deslauriers at this point, but I am happy that Bobby Brink was still in the lineup here today.
I'm interested. I'm really looking forward to asking Charlie about what he saw out of Sean Couturier tonight, because I think last night he wasn't as bad as people were saying. I thought once he got bumped up into the top 9, he had a couple of chances, and tonight I thought he made some plays. Not the ice time's weird because of all the special teams time there was. I mean, the Flyers get 3 power plays in just the first. There's a ton of penalty minutes in tonight's game, a lot of power plays both ways. So it's not like he played fourth line minutes. He ended up with Couturier ended up with 14:43 tonight. So kind of more third line minutes. But Cam Atkinson returns. 1 shot on goal, no points. He was one of only 2 forwards. It was him and Lawton who didn't have a shot on goal in the first period.
I mean,
Cam Atkinson, he's the odd man out. He is the Flyers' 13th forward right now. He's probably better than like Nick Deslauriers, but we know Deslauriers plays a role, so he'll be out there. But man, he just. I didn't notice him at all.
I didn't either.
There was like one time I think I saw him tonight where I think it was him who had the opportunity to take a loose puck to the net and decided to pass back, and nothing comes of it. Like, I think that was really his only opportunity of the night.
And he put on a good line too, though.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough conversation.
Yeah.
Whatever happens with Cam Atkinson after the season, I'm hoping to see as little of him as possible the rest of the way. Maybe I'm going to ask Charlie. Maybe we get a little Denver Barkey action late in the season. We'll see.
Wow.
But now it's time to talk about Tyson Foerster. This dude, man, he scores his 15th and 16th goals of the season tonight. And just like that, we're talking about where he is. We'll start with the just team scoring race.
Okay.
Farabee got his 18th tonight.
Okay.
Tippett's on 22. TK is stuck on 27 while he's out of the lineup. I mean, with the way he's going and the way Farabee isn't going, he gets one tonight, but it's his first time in 15 games. He might end up like second or third on this team in goal scoring after the problem with his play in the first 2/3 of the year being like, yeah, he's just not putting the puck in the net. He's playing all right, but just puck isn't going in. He said at intermission tonight, well, starting to go in. I think I'm playing the same. He is a ton of fun to watch. The ceiling for him is very, very high.
And what's dangerous right now, Bill, is that the dude's got confidence. I mean, you saw, was it the third goal or the second goal? I'm sorry, he scored, and he's bringing the tongue out. Like, he looks like he's having fun and scoring goals on people. I mean, that's the recipe for success there. But I mean, like, I like, part of me like really wants to get excited, but the other part of me who's a Philly sports fan is like, yo, tame it down. Let's see a little more from Tyson Foerster. But no, this is really cool to see. And I think what gets us really giddy is where he's at with the rest of the rookies in the league right now as far as scoring. Because obviously we all know right now in the league, the number 1 overall pick this past year's draft is pretty damn good. And our boy,
he's a goal behind him.
There's
12 minutes left in Blackhawks Blue Jackets.
Keep an eye out for that one.
Blackhawks are down 4-2, and Bedard has not scored. I'm looking for the Wild. That game is over. I do not think Marco Rossi scored. I'm just trying to.
I love
like,
it,
yeah, Marco Rossi.
We're
no
gonna keep an eye on
goals
this
tonight.
forever, man.
And Columbus is rookie, who I believe the Flyers are, who Foerster is now tied with, trying to. ESPN is much easier to navigate. I will say that. Where did it's the same game. Let's just say he's tied for second right now. That's what it looks like. If these things update, we'll let you know, like on Monday's show or whatever. But that's what it looks like right now. It's Connor Bedard and Marco Rossi both have 17 goals as rookies, and Dmitry Voronikov in in Columbus, excuse me. He's in Columbus. He has 16 goals. That's how many Tyson Foerster has now. With the way he's going, it's not out of the realm of possibility he catches and surpasses he catches and surpasses Connor Bedard. Now, that said, Bedard is leading all rookies in points by a pretty decent amount, and his per-game numbers, based on the amount of time he missed, he's going to run away with the Calder Trophy. Something I was interested to look up, though. We know Connor Bedard playing the whole season at 18. He doesn't turn 19 until like July. He's a very, very young man. Mm-hmm. Marco Rossi, though, turned 22 in September. Voronkov turned 23 in September. Of the league's leading goal-scoring rookies, Foerster's actually the second youngest out of all of them. I thought he was going to be, because I looked up some Flyers rookie scoring. Like Matt Reed had the 24 goals in 2011-12, but he was like a college senior who graduated. Like he went all the way through college and graduated. Right. He was like a 24, 25-year-old rookie. I thought maybe Foerster at 22 was like, oh, yeah, he's actually, no, he turned 22 in January. He's the youngest of the 3 22-year-old rookies at the top there. So he's killing it right now.
For real, man.
And this, he's got a chance to be one of the Flyers' leading rookie scorers since the lockout. Now, like Eric Lindros had 40 goals as a rookie. Michael Renberg had like 38. There's a ton of dudes who scored a lot as rookies. But like in the modern era, since 05-06, since hockey became what it is now, Matt Reed in 2011-12, 24 goals. Jeff Carter, 23 in 05-06. Umberger, 20 in 05-06. Lindblom and Ghost both had 17 in their rookie seasons. JVR had 15 in 09-10. Foerster's already right there with 16. Like, he has a chance to at least get to 20 with RJ Umberger. The record since 05-06 is Matt Reed. He's right there, man. Like, if he stays hot, he could score 24, 25 goals.
Yeah, no, and let's reiterate the importance of this, because we are in that rebuild and we do have some veteran players. But Bill, like Tyson Foerster playing this is great, but like we've had a lot of our young players playing really well. Like you look at Owen Tippett, Morgan Frost turning it around, but having Foerster playing like this at this moment, definitely it really brings a smile to everyone's face. But the penalty shot to me tonight was a big indicator of Tyson Foerster where he's at, because Pinto gets the hook on him, right? And then he comes right back around on that penalty shot and then gets it right past Sogard. And I thought right there, dude, that's where that confidence shows right there.
No, I thought that was huge. And it's, he already has the one goal. It was 45 seconds before that. It's right at the end of the second period. Yeah. The Flyers had not played great for the majority of that second period. They kind of turned it on there in the final, 6-7 minutes of the period. They get the first goal from Foerster. And then he goes a different direction. He starts dragging the puck over to the left, and he comes back 5-hole.
Nice.
I thought that was tremendous to score in a couple of different ways in the span of less than a minute. Like that shows a lot of confidence. It shows a lot of awareness, and that's kind of just what we've loved about Foerster all year. Now he's applying it to his offensive game, and I know a lot of people out there are trying to make the comparisons to Mark Stone because of the two-way play. Listen, he's got a long way to go,
nice,
but you're seeing a lot of it. It's just very exciting to see what he is becoming right now in the season. As the games are getting more important, all of a sudden this rookie, listen, Owen Tippett playing great. That's all well. Like, Foerster is the first of these young guys who are ours. We saw him drafted. Now he's breaking out to become close to a 20-goal scorer. Like, that's very, very important for this thing. I know they still need a considerable amount of high-end talent, but you just look at the dudes who suddenly are kind of trending to, they could play in a top 6, and it's Foerster, it's Tippett, it's Farabee. We know about TK. Like, all right, man, I just named 4 wingers. That's it. That's the amount of wingers that play in a top 6. Like, yes, you still need centers. You need centers very badly, but they're starting to maybe check some of these boxes, and it bodes well for them going forward.
I know everyone's going to talk about the goals of Foerster tonight, but like, let's not elude the fact that how many times do we see Foerster with the Flyers losing the puck in the offensive zone, and he's out there getting the puck back, keeping it in the zone, and that's definitely something huge to watch as well from a young player like that.
I want to I mentioned just a second ago during the Ollipop read the live show that we're doing at Chicken or the Egg in Marlton, New Jersey for the trade deadline. It's less than a week away now. It's Friday, March 8th, this coming Friday at the Chegg. That's right, the Chicken or the Egg in Marlton. It is going to be a 2-hour show on Friday from 2 to 4 p.m. covering any and everything trade deadline. And I've been looking into a little bit of this Chicken or the Egg, and I got to tell you, the place looks pretty damn cool. The chicken wings look phenomenal.
You had me a chicken wing, Bill.
Buffalo wings are my all-time favorite food.
Great.
That's what I eat. If given the choice of anything, wings are probably number one. I am looking forward to trying Chegs. I'm really looking forward to getting out and doing a live show with everybody. The trade deadline is going to be it's going to be eventful one way or another. We're starting to see some things heating up. During the broadcast tonight, they're saying the whole team is kind of not on edge, but they feel it. They feel
for sure
that something is looming, that some of their buddies are going to be taken away from them, whether it's Sean Walker, Nick Seeler, Scott Lawton. They know someone's going.
Yeah.
Maybe multiple someones.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see who gets to replace those guys. But it's something that we've been basically looking forward to all season because it's what this season was about. As much as this playoff race is important to get these guys experience in these meaningful games, whether they make the playoffs or not, we'll see. But playing in meaningful games and doing what they're doing right now is huge. But the trade deadline is what this entire season has been about. And we're going to get to hang out with all of you at the Chicken or the Egg in Marlton next Friday from 2 to 4. It's going to be a great time. Come have a couple drinks with me. We'll probably need them after Danny Briere, I don't know, like gives Nick Seeler $4 million for 3 years or whatever it is. I will say, though, Nick Seeler tonight, if a team out there is looking for a defenseman who is just going to, like I said, I joked around earlier, he's putting his life on the line out there. He really freaking is. I mean, 4 blocks on basically that one penalty kill and 5 for the game. Nick Seeler, for a cheap depth defenseman, you can't do much better than him.
I mean, dude, talk about using every which body part to block shots. My man using his ass to block a shot here tonight, man. This man every single night is coming away with the most bruises out of anyone in the NHL. And I mean, dude, I don't know about that contract extension he wants, but I mean, the man deserves some type of extension for sure.
The dude he's a badass, absolutely. And I just saw the super chat from Corey. Do you guys prefer, to say, breaded or sauced wings? I need the breading all day. This is one of the reasons I need Ollipop, because I'm incapable of making just give me naked wings. Like, it's the same thing, just without the fried skin. No, I want the skin. Give me the breading.
Obviously, the breaded wings are fantastic, but like, you know me, like I have to try to keep this figure in check as much as I can. So I do like to smoke or broil the wing and then throw the sauce. I like a little crisp from the burn a little bit. So yeah, I do like that.
And luckily at the Chicken or the Egg, you can get them breaded, you can get them naked, either way. So however you prefer. Thanks for that, Corey. You're helping out with the read. No. Nick Seeler, I get why you want to reward a dude. It's like Scott Lawton a few years ago when it was coming down to the trade deadline and it was, we're either going to re-sign you or trade you. And he really wanted to stay. He re-signs. I feel that with Nick Seeler. You want to reward a guy for that sort of effort. Talking about building a culture, this dude is going to be just a bruise. He's just going to be black and blue all over tomorrow. I get it, but man, I hope someone gives him $5 million. And that someone is not the Philadelphia Flyers. There's 31 other teams they can give him that money.
There's other players that'll take a bruise here and there, no?
Cam York had 7 blocks tonight. Let us not forget the effort of Cam York. I made the joke earlier that he's awesome on the empty nets. He's the Steph Curry of empty net goals. He just pulls up from anywhere and he drains them. But 7 blocks. And now the Steph Curry of Philadelphia hockey beat reporters. It is Philly's #1 hockey beat reporter, Charlie O'Connor, joining us live from the Wells Fargo Center. Chuck, I don't even really know where I want to start tonight. Let's start with Tyson Foerster. Scores the 2 big goals, 45 seconds apart. Just exciting on the 5th out of 5 penalty shots the Flyers have scored now this year. What do you think of Tyson Foerster? And man, what is this dude's ceiling? Because he is on fire right now. He's getting me excited.
Well, I think the big thing for me with Tyson Foerster in this game, and it goes back to something that John Tortorella told us after last night's game, because I was down in D.C., obviously, for that one. And he basically said that the big thing they're lacking right now is the offensive guys on the team. And I took that to mean the established offensive guys. Sean Couturier, Joel Farabee, who does get a goal tonight. Travis Konechny's obviously not in the lineup, but you've got Owen Tippett, who's been not as productive as he's been in the past this season. That Tortorella wanted more from those guys. He wanted one of those guys last night to step up and basically take over a shift, take over 5 minutes, and push the Flyers into a point where they could take back control of the game that they lost control of in the second and third periods. Tonight, I thought the same thing kind of happened. This was following the same script as last night, where the first period, the Flyers play well. They only came out of it with a 1-0 lead versus a 2-0 lead like they did on Friday, but they controlled the play. 19-4, I believe, were the shots on goal in favor of the Flyers. And then the second period hits, and Ottawa takes back control. They tie the game, and Ottawa's outplaying the Flyers in the second period. They needed someone to step up and to just deliver that shift, those 2 shifts, those 3 shifts, to take back control of the game. If you remember, Foerster actually, this is about 2 or 3 minutes before he scores the first goal, because there's a 4-on-4 in between. But right before the 4-on-4, Foerster rings one off the post. And you're like, oh, man, Foerster, so close to nail it. I remember thinking, like, classic example of in 3 years, Tyson Foerster probably finishes that shot because he has a better handle on how to finish chances at the NHL level. Well, that was just the start, because then the 4-on-4 ends. Foerster gets back on the ice, rips one off a faceoff. Flyers take the lead again. Then he has a great defensive play, turns it into a breakaway, draws the penalty shot, scores again, and suddenly, I know Ottawa comes back and they score one near the end with a 2-man advantage because they pull the goalie, but that won the game right there. That 1 minute stretch by Tyson Foerster won the game. That's what they didn't have on Friday. They didn't have anyone stand up and say, we ain't losing this game. I did not expect Tyson Foerster to be the guy who was going to stand up and say, we ain't losing this game. I'm looking more towards the Owen Tippetts, the Joel Farabees, the Sean Couturiers. I was not expecting it to be Tyson Foerster, but it was. And you got to give the kid a shitload of credit for being the guy who stood up and made sure they weren't going to lose what was a pretty big game.
I'm really impressed with what we're seeing out of Tyson Foerster right now. I don't know how anyone couldn't be. And if you look at that rookie scoring race, Charlie, it's not out of the realm of possibility. He catches and passes Marco Rossi and Connor Bedard, at least in the goal scoring. But we'll see how that goes as the season goes on. Let's talk about Felix Sandstrom. I just want to know your impressions of his NHL debut this season. I thought in the first period he looked a little shaky. Maybe he was stabbing at the puck some. Wasn't quite sure where his net was, but he held it together. Confidence grew as the game went on. Got a little lucky at the end. What did you see?
My primary impression of Felix Sandstrom is that he looks a lot better than Cal Peterson. And I know the bar is low, but you know what? When Cal Peterson is your primary competition for the backup job, you still have to exceed that bar. And he very much cleared it. Now, yes, did he get a bit lucky? He had quite a few shots go off post. Sure. Posts are part of the equipment, though. Some of it is the fact that you're in good position and you're giving the shooters nothing to shoot at except the post. Now, a couple of them maybe weren't quite that way, where it was more like Jacob Chikrin had an open net and just hit it off the post. That happens sometimes. Sometimes you get lucky. It's hockey. I thought Sandstrom played pretty well. I thought he made some good saves. It wasn't a dominant performance by any means, but I thought Sandstrom was fine. And the way I look at it is, anybody you would get at this stage of the season, because we talked about the possibility of maybe them tossing a 5th-round pick to somebody at a deadline to get a backup goalie who is an NHL caliber backup. Anybody you get for that price at this point of the year isn't going to be that good either. All they need is a backup goalie behind Sam Ersson to be halfway decent. Like, just don't lose you the game. Don't do what Cal Peterson did on Sunday. And Felix Sandstrom, to me, tonight, he very much cleared that bar of looking good enough. Is he a great goalie? No, probably not, because if he was a great goalie, he wouldn't have been buried down in the minors this entire year. They would have thought, hey, he's the guy. He should be part of this. He's not a great goalie, but he doesn't have to be a great goalie. He just has to be a decent goalie. Tonight, he was a decent goalie, and that's really all they needed to win, that and a lot of goal posts.
Hey, Charlie, JP over here. Another key storyline I wanted to ask you about, see if Torts mentioned anything in the presser as well. 5 penalties for the Flyers, the Senators with 5 power play opportunities. Did Torts mention anything about that in the presser today?
Nah, he didn't bring it up. It didn't seem like something he was too frustrated about. I will say that a few of those penalties were kind of light. That might play into why Torts didn't complain about it, because like a few of them didn't seem to me to be very good penalties from the officials. So I don't know why you would get angry at your team when the official makes a bad call against your team. Like, that happens. It's hockey. There's no reason for him to go out and destroy the officials when the Flyers won the game. But I suspect that played into why he wasn't too mad about it, because it wasn't as if, like, I didn't see too many lazy, egregious, awful penalties in this game. Did they take too many penalties? Yeah, they took too many penalties. Ideally, you're not taking a double minor with with a bunch of time left in the third period and giving the other team a chance to win, or a chance to come back and get themselves back into a game they were down by 2 at the time. That's not great, but none of the penalties, at least as I remember them, were the kind of penalties where you're just like, oh my God, that was obscenely stupid. It's hockey. Sometimes you're going to make mistakes, and sometimes the officials are going to call penalties that don't really look like penalties. It happens.
It did lead to an interesting exchange between Lotz and Drew, I will say.
I love that they took a couple
buddies.
shots at Drew tonight. Charlie, I want to ask about Bobby Brink. Stays in the lineup after last night's third period benching. Kind of got benched in the third again tonight. Only 2 shifts in the third period, but 3 shots on goal, a little over 10 minutes time on ice. I thought he responded pretty well. I liked what I saw out of him when he was out there. He wasn't out there that much. What did you make of Bobby Brink after last night's haranguing from John Tortorella?
Yeah, he was not happy with him last night. I thought Brink was okay. He was good on the power play. I thought he made some things happen. Obviously, the Flyers don't score. Shocking. They didn't score on the power play. I'm blown away. But I thought he did some things. He's a creative player. He's going to make some plays. Now, he was 11th on the team in forwards and ice time, so it's not like Tortorella was, overloading him with usage after that game. But I don't think that's that shocking. The big difference from this game versus last game was that with Cam Atkinson back in the lineup, Brink was dropped down to the 4th line. However, the 4th line also has the team's presumptive number 1 center on it. So is it really a 4th line? Kind of, a little. I don't know. The Flyers team, as usual, is crazy because it's the Flyers. I thought Brink was fine. He didn't do anything that made me jump out of my chair and say, holy shit, he's given Torts the FU like Couturier did earlier in February. But he also didn't do anything that made me, facepalm and say, oh God, he's going to get scratched now. He did okay. I'm glad he played. He didn't make anything terribly good happen. He didn't make anything terribly bad happen. Should keep him in the lineup.
Another addition to the lineup tonight was Cam Atkinson, 12-24 time on ice with 1 shot. Not that great again for Cam Atkinson, Charlie.
Did he play? No, but again, his game was, I didn't notice him in a bad way. I just didn't notice him. If you would have told me that he got benched after the first period, I'd have been like, okay, maybe, because I didn't notice him very much in this game. Look, I would like nothing more than for Cam Atkinson to get back to what he was during that stretch where it seemed like he was figuring it out. I just don't know if it's going to happen. I mean, he's 34 going on 35. He missed all of last season. This might just be who he is. And they're going to give him opportunities. They're going to hope that he can get going in some way or another. But in the end, this is a team battling for a playoff spot. And they can't force feed someone minutes hoping that they get it together. If Atkinson gets it together, great. If he doesn't, there's guys like Tyson Foerster ready to take his minutes and ready to run with them.
Charlie, the captain watch continues. Sean Couturier, like you said, he's on that quote unquote 4th line tonight. I mean, if you're playing with Delorier, it's the 4th line, but he's also out there with Brink. I didn't think Coots looked that bad last night when he got bumped up into the top 9. He had a few chances.
Neither did I.
And what did you see out of him tonight? I thought he's continuing to maybe build back a little bit.
Yeah, I think he's making progress, at least to my eyes. He seems like he's skating better. Now, that said, by the numbers, he was really bad by advanced metrics. We're talking about sub 10% expected goals for 5-on-5. By the same token, when you're spending a lot of your minutes with Nick Delorier, doesn't really help. But I thought by the eye test, he was skating better than he has recently. Look, the hope is that over these next few games he can pull his way out of it, because my opinion with Couturier, and I put this in my column that came out, I believe, on Friday, is that during the middle part of March, when every single game is against a really good Eastern Conference team, they're going to need Sean Couturier to be some percentage of what he is at his best. Maybe not 100, but they're going to need him probably to be above 85 or 90, because otherwise they ain't going to beat a lot of the teams they're about to face. So he's going to get the next game against St. Louis, another team that isn't exactly a world beater. Maybe he can build some momentum, because then they go on this trip to Florida and they play against two really good teams. Obviously, they beat Tampa this week, but like that was the weirdest game ever. The lights were half on. Now they will be going into Amalie Arena, a really tough place to play, and then they'll of course be playing against the Florida Panthers, who very well might be the best team in the Eastern Conference. I think they're going to need Sean Couturier, if not playing his best, playing much better hockey than he has been. Is he making progress? I think he's making some. He needs to make more. He needs to make more if the Flyers are going to survive this March stretch, in my opinion.
Charlie, one more for me. This one's going to be fun here. So the most important question of the night, it was obviously a theme night. We had superhero night at the Wells Fargo Center. So, Charlie, what's your favorite superhero?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, I was never like a huge superhero person.
Okay.
There was a run when I was a little kid when I really liked Green Lantern for DC. In the Marvel movies, my favorite character by far is Captain America. I mean, that's like not even close. I think he is by far the most interesting and most compelling, and his movies are the best. But I've never been like a huge superhero guy. Like Batman is a classic. Right. And obviously there's a lot you can do with Batman because he doesn't have powers, so you could throw him in a lot of different situations, and that makes him more fun. Plus he's dark and edgy, and that's cool. I don't know. I don't really have like an obvious favorite superhero. I have a bunch I like.
We appreciate the analysis.
That's excellent. Charlie, I just have a couple of things I want to clean up as we let you go. Someone said you're at a children's bowling alley birthday party is what it sounds like. But your audio's fine. It's just very funny that there's clearly something going on. Any surprise?
Yeah, I think it's a men's league game. It looks like a men's league game.
Nice.
I've done it.
There's
I've done
three people on each bench, which tells me it's a men's league game.
Any surprise we didn't see Ronnie Attard tonight in the back-to-back?
I mean, look, I would play Attard. I would have played Attard in this game. I'm not really sure what Mark Stahl's bringing, aside from the fact that, like, he's not going to make some egregious coverage error. But the egregious error he might make is just, getting beat because he's slow and nowhere near as good as he once was. I probably would have played Attard in this game. I just think it comes down to trust. These are big games. My theory, and we will see if this plays out over the next week, is that they called up Attard to kind of get him acclimated to being around the guys, so that if and when one of Sean Walker or Nick Seeler or both get traded before the deadline or at the deadline, they can more seamlessly slide Attard in. I don't know why else you would call him up just to sit around and not play, unless you have designs on him playing at some point in the relatively near future. That, to me, is probably what's going on. But I don't know. I guess we're going to have to see how the rest of this week plays out with the deadline and who gets moved, who doesn't get moved. And maybe if nobody gets moved, they sat Attard back down. And then you'll know that that's what it was. It was, hey, he's here in case there's a trade.
If no one gets moved, Charlie, the last thing I'm going to be thinking about is Ronnie Attard. Can you tell us anything about the report of Denver Barkey potentially signing his ELC tomorrow? And if it's the case, do you think we could see him in the NHL at all, maybe after the deadline this year?
No. There is zero chance that Denver Barkey is going to be in the NHL. Signing him to an ELC, this is not something I've chased down, because it's just not that important. Like, it's important to get him signed to an entry-level contract because he's a quality prospect. But there is negative 20% chance that Denver Barkey plays in an NHL game this season. It's not going to happen. He's not physically ready. Like, the kid looks like he's 12. He's not going to play. What's good about this is that I thought it was kind of odd that he hadn't yet been signed to an ELC. Now, I spoke with Denver Barkey on the phone about a month and a half ago, and he sounded like someone who is very excited about being a Flyer. and about joining the organization, so I was not worried that this was Cutter Gauthier Part 2. So my only thought was, okay, the reason why he doesn't have an ELC yet is because the Flyers haven't yet deemed him worthy of having an ELC. Look at what he's doing this year. He's very obviously worthy of having an ELC, so I'm glad that he's going to probably get one. Like, I have no reason to believe that this report is wrong. It makes sense. He should be signed. He's a really good prospect. But no, he is not ready to be an NHLer. I do not think there is almost any chance he makes the team out of camp next year, even with an entry-level contract. He's probably going back to London for another season, and then we'll see what happens. I'm really excited about Denver Barkey as a prospect, but no, Denver Barkey is not going to be the reinforcements they get down the stretch. There's no chance.
All right, just wanted to make sure we put it out there for the people, Charlie. Now, without any further ado, it's time for Charlie O'Connor's 3 stars, and feel free to pick who is ever doing all the scoring in this men's league game. It's going wild out there.
Well, it's a men's league game. There's going to be a lot of goals. The goaltending probably isn't that good. Not going to lie. I mean, you know what? I'm not even going to make a Cal Peterson joke. Never mind.
Let's go to star number 3.
Star number 3. I will go with Felix Sandstrom, actually. You know what? This was a tough spot for him to come in. Obviously, he hasn't played in the NHL all season. He's got the pressure of knowing that this is a big opportunity for him. Hell, it could be his last opportunity, seriously, to be a long-term NHL goalie, because if he doesn't carve his path out as a backup goalie now, my guess is that in the offseason, the Flyers will go out and they will trade for or sign an established NHL backup. If Felix Sandstrom delivers 4 or 5 good starts the rest of the way, maybe he gives them pause, and maybe they think, hey, this kid maybe could be a decent backup. I thought he was fine. I don't think he was amazing. He made some tough saves. He got some help from the post, but I thought he did his job. He did his job in a game, and he played well at the end of the game. He played well. Obviously, he gives up that 1 goal to Shabbat, but I don't know if anybody was stopping that one. He played well. He played well enough to win, and when you saw what a bad backup can do for a team earlier this week against Pittsburgh, it was nice to see the Flyers get good backup goaltending for Felix Sandstrom. So for that reason, I'll give him my 3rd star.
Who is star number 2?
Star number 2, I'll go with Joel Farabee. I liked the way he came out in this game. He obviously hasn't scored in a while. I think someone tweeted out that on 97.5, he apparently made a comment where, like, this will get all the people on Twitter to shut up. Joel, it will never get all the people on Twitter to shut up. So, like, I appreciate the sentiment, but they will never log off. Do not think that 1 goal will get them to log off. They never will. However, love that he got back on the score sheet. I don't think he's been playing terribly over this last stretch. He's just not scoring. And the Flyers need him to score. They need guys like him, Couturier and Tippett, to score, especially when the schedule gets tougher starting next week. I loved seeing him back on the score sheet. Nice goal for him. Hopefully this gets him back going. So he is my star number 2.
And I can't imagine it would be anyone else, but let's see who you have at star number 1.
Yeah, it's Tyson Foerster. He took over this game at the end of the second period. The Flyers needed someone to do it. I did not expect Tyson Foerster to be the one who did it, but he did it. And now he has 9 goals in his last 9 games, I believe. Pretty freaking cool, especially given the fact that he had an injury in between. Right. I love the fact that he was able to kind of pick right back up where he left off. I was afraid that was going to sort of halt his momentum and halt whatever he was figuring out at the time. Instead, he just kept on scoring the minute he came back. So it's been cool to watch Tyson Foerster. It looks like he's kind of on the path to scoring 20 goals as a rookie. That's pretty neat. And I do think with him, it's kind of like a sky's the limit type of thing. He's an exciting guy.
Charlie, Flyers rookies with 20 goals since the lockout. Matt Reed, Jeff Carter, RJ Umberger. Pretty good company right there if Tyson Foerster can get there. Before we let you go, I have to send a pop quiz your way because I had to look this up. It's almost 2 years since the Giroux trade. Who were the 2 players that went to the Panthers with Claude Giroux?
Oh, it was German Rubtsov was 1. Was it Connor Bunnaman?
Connor Bunnaman, that's the one I had to look up. Yes, you nailed it, Charlie. And that's what makes you
good.
That's what makes you Philly's #1 hockey beat reporter. I will talk to you on Monday, my friend.
Thanks, Charlie.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, take it easy, Chuck. That was Charlie O'Connor and his hit there. It was brought to you by our friends at Bagels and Company. Man, if you want the absolute best Brooklyn-style bagels made right here with Philly love, you got to go to Bagels and Co. First thing you got to know about Bagels and Company, huge bagels, the biggest bagels in Philly, and a huge variety of them, usually 15 to 20 different types to choose from daily. Next thing you got to know, well, when you have that many different kinds of bagels, you need a ton of cream cheeses. 30 different flavors of cream cheese to choose from. That's absolutely huge. From anything from plain cream cheese to maybe you want a theme for sports. They have 76ers, Phillies. They've done all sorts of things there. And maybe the most important thing about Bagels & Co., they're an affordable brand. You get a lot of food for cheap. And in today's, world of inflation and everything costing like $11, oh yeah,
$1 was not even $1
that's
anymore.
That's gonna be $15. Like, really? I just stepped out of my house. I haven't gone anywhere yet. Yeah, man, there's a toll booth. Well, Bagels and Company is an affordable brand. You get a lot of food for cheap. So for the best Brooklyn-style bagels made right here in Philly, head to thebagelsandco.com/store-locator to find the closest Bagels and Company near you. We are pretty soon to wrapping up, but one thing I noticed tonight, it kind of threw me right away. Flyers came out wearing their Stadium Series jerseys tonight, wearing the white at home. I remember a lot of people after the lockout and the league flipped and said you're going to wear your color jerseys at home and your white on the road. A lot of people didn't like that. And we're like, traditionally you wear the white at home and that's just the way it is. I didn't care. I always thought the cooler jersey is the color one, so wear it in front of your home fans. I missed the white. I kind of liked seeing it out there tonight. I was really confused when the game started. I was like, wait, what? The team in black is not what? I was like, wait, why isn't Charlie here? If they're in Ottawa, what is going on? And then I put it all together. I was like, okay, everything's fine. Relax. I kind of liked wearing the white at home, and those jerseys are very cool.
They are. Do you think that maybe the jersey sales didn't go as planned? So maybe they're like, well, let's just throw them out here. Maybe they'll play good. Maybe they'll entice some people to stop by the shop and pick one up.
I think they always try to get like one home game where they wear them because they wear them the Flyers. They've done a ton of the outdoor games. Most of them they haven't hosted, and I think they've always at least once worn the alternate, like on a weekend at home or something. But
makes sense.
It's definitely possible. Yeah. I mean. Fanatics taking a lot of heat right now. Probably need to boost those sales a little bit. So I could see that being the motivation.
Will we see them again later this year?
Will we? They play a ton of weekend games. That's usually when they go with their alternates. And I will take these over the black jerseys they have any day. So
not a big fan.
I hope so. I'm all for that. Absolutely. What else do we have to get to? I think that's. You know what? Let's talk about Coors Light for a second. I've been drinking a Coors Light tonight, and I am enjoying it. Listen, this team, they drive us nuts, man. We've been doing this a long time, Charlie and I. JP, not as long as us, but you'll learn quickly that they're going to piss you off. You're going to get fired up, and that's why sometimes we all need to chill. And there's no better way to chill than with an ice-cold Coors Light. So whether you're freaking out about the goaltenders, injuries, the draft lottery, the trade deadline, you need to find the Blue Mountains in your fridge and enjoy a beer as cold as the Rockies, because when everything surrounding your favorite hockey team is on fire, like Tyson Foerster, I don't want him to chill, but let's reward him with a Coors Light. Couple of goals. Let's get him some Coors Light. When everything surrounding your favorite hockey team is on fire, sometimes you just got to chill. When you choose to rise above it all, choose chill, choose Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/PHLY hockey. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Do you have anything else tonight?
I want to ask you the same question I asked Charlie. What is your favorite superhero, Mr. Bill?
Oh, man, what is my favorite superhero? I think the best superhero movies are the Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire movies.
They were good.
The best one ever is probably The Dark Knight. Batman Begins is real good. Man. But I thought The Dark Knight Returns was so bad, it kicks it out of that company for me. My favorite superhero. Yeah, I'll say Spider-Man. I'll say because it's so
Spidey?
like, yeah, it's it's such an easy, good story. Like, young nerd becomes awesome superhero, has to hide his identity, like, wants the girlfriend, has to hide the girl. I'll go with, I was never a big comic book guy. Do the Ninja Turtles count?
Dude,
I guess I would have to say Ninja Turtle. Like, that's the thing I've probably seen the most.
They were awesome, too.
I don't really consider them, like, superheroes. I don't know why. They are. Like, they're freaking,
saving New
they're
York.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, everything about them is super. So I guess I'm going to change my answer to Ninja Turtles.
I do love the 90s live action movies.
No, the 90s live actions. The new one is freaking great.
Okay.
The one that the Seth Rogen one that just came out like over the summer.
I'm about to watch that.
I actually might have had a few too many Coors Lights recently and found myself at a Target and bought the Blu-ray. that's I was like, woke up the next morning with the title screen on. It's like, what the fuck did I do? Did I really buy a Blu-ray? It's 2024. But yeah, so I'm gonna go Ninja Turtles. This show it's over. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for hanging out. If you haven't already, you got to hit that subscribe button. Follow us right here on YouTube. Set your reminders. Never miss a live show. PHLY Flyers, wherever you get your podcasts. At PHLY_Flyers on Twitter. Make sure you get your tickets for the takeover on March 14th. Flyers and Leafs with the meetup in the Assembly Room. It's going to be a great time. I'm going to be there. Charlie's going to be there. Kelly's going to be there. PHLY crew is going to be there. And we want to see you. It's also Pearl Jam night, which is big for many people. All right, so that's that. And make sure you see us at the Chicken or the Egg in Marlton on this coming Friday, March 8th, for the trade deadline watch party, 2 to 4 p.m. for our live show. That's it. My name is Bill Matz. For JP Zapata, have a great weekend, Philly.
See you guys.
We all silly like the mayor.